For instant, that's good.
Well, what's up, gang? Welcome back to another video here at Gideonstactical, and today we're going to be talking about budget-friendly, multi-person stainless steel pots for boiling water and cooking when you're camping or backpacking. Now, when I was deciding to make this video, I wanted to put 3 of these head-to-head just to kind of give you guys an idea of what is available at a very reasonable price when you need to cook and or boil water for more than, I'd say, 1 to 2 people. Your group is more of 3 to 4 people, and you have to process more water when you're boiling and when you are cooking. And so I looked into some items that were available, and these are the 3 that I came across that we're going to be putting head-to-head today. First up, we have the GSI Outdoors Glacier Boiler 1.1 liter pot, as well as the MSR Alpine Stowaway pot in the 1.1 liter size. And finally, the Stanley Cook Set for 2 in, again, the 1.1 liter size range. So there are some big benefits right out of the gate for this style and this type of build when you're looking at your cookware. The stainless steel means that it's going to be rather inexpensive. All 3 of these items are going to come in under $30, as well as it's basically bomb-proof. You can throw it in a fire and cook over a fire. You can use it on all different types of elements and stoves, and they're pretty tough and durable. So you can do a lot with them, and you don't have to worry about their performance level and different types of environments that you might be able to cook in. The one downside is usually weight. The stainless steel over things that are either aluminum or titanium is that it's just going to weigh more, and that's just the nature of the beast. So yes, you may be cutting down on price, and yes, they tend to be very tough and durable, but you're going to pay for it in the weight when you're building out your either day hike or backpack. Now, if you are camping and you are pulling up to a campsite or even an RV or something like that, the stainless steel probably makes more sense just because weight isn't as big an issue as when you are using man-made propulsion in the sense of hiking and or trekking. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and kick it off with the GSI. Now, it's going to come with this mesh bag, which is nice because it gives you the opportunity to store utensils along the body. So I have 2 utensils in here. Now, naked, just the mesh bag and the pot and lid, that is going to run 12.3 ounces on my scale. 12.3 ounces naked, and then obviously you can stuff it out however you would like. So we're going to pull that mesh baggie down and out of the way, just again, so you could easily get, I mean, you could get 4 utensils around that, and you could do that if you wanted to. So we're going to pull that guy away. Now, there you go. We're going to have graduations on the outside, which is nice, up to 32 ounces or 1,000 milliliters. Again, being more of a multi-person kit, and that's what all 3 of these that we're looking at, whereas most single person to 2 person are usually more around the 24 ounce size range is what they can handle. So we have this really nice strong arm that clicks down, keeps out of the way of the flame, easier to access and not, you know, heat up your hand as much. We have a really nice lid. Now, no pour ports or venting ports at all, but it does have steel loop here to be able to pull it off, and it does rotate out of the side when you're not using it. So then we have a lot going on inside there. I have my MSR Pocket Rocket 2.0. I've got a pop-up cup. You could do one of those. Your Bic lighter to start your stove, and then a large, there we go, if I can get it in shot, there we go, a large fuel canister can fit inside there with no problem. If you did a smaller fuel canister, you could maybe get 2 pop-up cups or something like that, or a few other small items in there. So there's a lot of accessibility to be able to stuff a lot of different items inside this, on top of the fact that you can also inside see the graduation. So when you're pouring or you're looking, you know, inside, you can see them from the inside as well, which is a nice feature. Not all pots offer that, particularly at this price point. So next up, we have our Stanley Cook Set for 2 here. And as you're about to see it with the 2 extra kits that come with it, the plastic bowls and plastic sporks that I'm about to show you, it weighs 15.5 ounces. If you gut those, it comes all the way down to 10.5 ounces. So even a little lighter weight than our previous model, the GSI, if you decide to gut it out the plastic, or it does have these little features. So let's go ahead and hit it here. You got your graduations up on this side, obviously 1,000 milliliters or 4 cups. And then you have your collapsible arm, keeping that lid on there. Now what you will see when we do the collapsible arm good size as well. And it does have a little sleeve here that you can push forward to keep it from accidentally collapsing when you're, you know, working with it and stuff. So that's a nice little feature. The other one didn't seem to need that, but it's a cool little aspect to have. A little bit of a larger grab handle with a rubberized piece here. My argument would be you could try to keep it on there. I believe over time, particularly if you're cooking over fires, this is going to melt off. It won't hurt the use of the item at all, but don't be surprised if that does happen over the long haul. Then you do have vents for both drainage as well as just breathing vents, so it doesn't rattle quite as much and spill quite as much out the gate. So that is a nice little feature to have. I kind of like that option versus just a solid lid with no holes. Now, what we have in here, if you do it with the cups and the sporks, is enough space for either a small fuel pod, or you could put your stove element in there with, say, your Bic lighter. So you could do that, but you really can't fit both. Now you can do that, I believe, and we'll test it out here in just a second, if we remove these plastic cups, but I'll just show you. This is going to come with 2 plastic cups. They're slightly insulated, so they're not going to, you know, burn your hands if you're putting hot liquids or food in there. They are 12 ounces each, dishwasher safe, and you are going to get these 2 little kind of mini sporks that do function pretty well. You know, we had a meal, my buddy and I, with them, and they did the job nicely. Really couldn't complain, particularly for the price and the kind of the design of the kit. Now, just for the sake of argument, let's go ahead and throw a larger fuel pod in there and our stove, and you can see there that that is not going to clear with the lid. So if we do a smaller fuel pod, throw the stove, oh yeah, all day. And I bet you, let's just give it a shot here. Oh yeah. So, and let's throw a spork in there, easy. So you could easily, if you decided not to take the plasticware, get a small fuel pod, a foldable cup, foldable spork, and your element as well as a lighter in there without issue. So that is a good option and good capability if you want to mix and match with the Stanley. All right, next up we have our MSR pot. Now this is definitely more like a pot, whereas some of those you could argue is almost kind of more like a cup. It's much lower, going to have a wider footprint overall. We could argue much better for cooking meals, and we'll kind of discuss that here in just a little bit. And what we got here, just so you can see, is the heaviest weight overall. It's 15.2 ounces, and it does not come with any extra accessories. So when we're looking at weight, it goes without any accessories, the Stanley being the lightest, then we have the GSI and this MSR being the heaviest weight overall. And then with the plasticware, the Stanley is about the same weight. So you do get a little bit more for the same weight of the Stanley. But since we're touching on this, and I kind of forgot about it a moment ago, the Stanley it is kind of interesting to me because though it's tough, durable, I've had several Stanley products over the years that work great and have always been very reliable. This one, I would argue, has, because not only the weight, obviously being the lightest of all three, the bottom is the thinnest. The other two are going to have much denser bottoms. So we could argue in some ways that's going to heat up your food or boil your water faster, but I don't know with how flexible that is. The durability, particularly if maybe you stepped on it, you dropped it from a higher, level, or just long-term longevity, that's just something to kind of keep in consideration. So as we go here, we have this compression lever. So this is going to have the tightest seal and tightest fit of all three. It's kind of a nice little aspect to have. You pop that sucker over, then it's going to have the longest arm as well. So if you're doing a lot of fire cooking over larger elements and or the fire, this is nice because it gives you even more reach away from the element. And then you do have these little sliding pieces right here on the arm, just again to keep it from, kind of popping. If I go real tight here, it kind of helps, but I could still force it if I need to. So it kind of does the job, but it's not like mind-blowing. You got your nice little grab tab right there and a domed lid, which does allow for a full setup like we've been seeing. So the smaller fuel element, we got our MSR, one foldable cup, and Bic lighter and utensil. Now we could maybe jam another foldable cup in there if I really worked on it. Maybe I could get that working there in another spork. So just for kind of some size perspective there, a storing capability. Just finished boiling some water for my afternoon coffee while I edit in my new home, RV. And one thing that I kind of forgot about to mention a little earlier was that the MSR has no graduations on it, inside or outside, and that's kind of a downer. I wish it did, so that's a little bit of a drawback to the design. And something else that I did was, up until now, my home has been at right about a mile above sea level. That's where I've tested out many different, not only burning speeds for different stoves, but also how well could these boil, and was there some sort of difference there. And what we found was that the GSI was about right at 5 minutes, the Stanley was about 5 minutes and 10 seconds, but the MSR was about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So I don't know if that has something to do with the density of the metal being the heaviest, that it takes a little bit longer to heat up, but you will probably see a little bit longer boil times on the MSR than you will on the other two models. Now, as I alluded to a little earlier in the video, price is definitely a big selling point in these three pots and just this type of style in general. And so the most expensive model is going to be the GSI Outdoors Glacier. That one's gonna come in usually around $25 on average. Then the other two are gonna come in right about 20 bucks. Both the Stanley, which I'm seeing it might be like a Target exclusive or something, which is really interesting to me because I can't really find it anywhere else, and that is where I picked up that model kind of on a whim, but I can't really seem to find it anywhere else except for Target. So that might be a Target exclusive for the Stanley we're looking at. And then the MSR coming in at $19.99 as well, that you can pick up on many different websites that we will have in the description box below. So we'll have a bunch of links for you guys, and throughout this video, if one of these three designs connects it with you, I encourage you to go check out those hyperlinks. We do appreciate when you purchase through those that we offer in the video description below. Well, folks, there you have it, and I want to share with you my conclusion on these three items and which ones I would go with certain scenarios. Now, for me, if I'm mostly just going to be boiling water, that's really what I need to do. I'm doing dehydrated meals, I'm making coffee and tea and boiling it to purify it to then drink it later, then I would go with the GSI Outdoors Glacier Boiler. That model is just a little bit narrower. It seems to fit a little bit better in most of my backpacks when I do pack it out. And it just has a level of toughness and durability that I really connect with, and it really is a stowable, stackable design. So if water boiling is really the name of the game, and that's the main thing you're going to be doing with this, that is what I would recommend out of all three. Now, if you think you're going to be doing more cooking, you're going to be making meals with this pot, you do need to boil some water sometimes, but that may not be the only thing you need. I really like the wider, kind of lower profile that the MSR pot offers you. There's just an aspect of cooking inside of it that's much more conducive. It is still small, but it is a little more awkward to put in your backpack, I've found, than the other two models that are just a little taller and narrower. So though portability may be a little bit of an issue, if you do like making a lot of meals when you're on the trail or when you're camping, and that's something that you need, then I feel like that's really where the MSR shines. And to be honest with you, the Stanley is only a backup when you forgot all your cookware and there happens to be a Target on your way out of town. That's really where I feel like that Stanley falls. The fact that I can flex the bottom, I'm concerned with long-term durability of that. And though the cups are nice little features to have, it just seems like an overall flimsier package. There is some convenience with the little sporks and cups, and so for maybe some of you that might make some sense to you, but for me, I carry modified ones, or ones that collapse and different things like that, both with cups and with my utensils. So it's not something that really is a big selling point to me, and would be the least of the three that I would pick up and use on a regular basis. Thank you so much, folks, for coming over and joining me on this particular video. I look forward to reading the comments. If there's some aspect that I missed, feel free to ask a question. I'll do my best to answer them in the comment section below. I invite you to subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber here, throwing up content like this every single week. You can check out the other video popping up. And don't forget to check out our other channel that my wife and my family and I run, called Live the Trek, where we are RVing full time. That is awesome as well. We'll have a link in the description for that. And until next time, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.